a bio movie of Kevin Smith and the Clerks.
Should I answer that?
Yeah. It was your idea to start off.
Yeah, it was. Going back as far as about 2011, I believe it was, when Kevin brought out his book. It was called Tough Shit, and people were coming up to him from production companies and offering him like a movie deal for it. You know, they wanted the rights to the book, and he says, this isn't an autobiography. This is more, if you've got a dream, go out and do it. Here's how I did certain things, and this is what I'm up to now. So I thought, oh, okay, well, someone's going to option it, or at least option the idea of Shooting Clerks.
Yeah.
And nobody did. And as we were making shorts that were biopics at the time, I just turned to Brett one day and I was like, you know, we're doing quite well with the shorts. Maybe we do it. And he just said, it could work. And then, we went off to do it. And the reason I did it is because I love both film and Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
So it was the perfect sort of blend of the two.
Okay.
What was that?
Some duck would come up, right?
That was an interesting sound.
So what we had done first, we did a short film called Get Greedo, which follows one of the stories that Kevin Smith told in one of his books, Me and My Shadow, about how his relationship with Muse evolved after Mallrats and during Chasing Amy leading up to Dogma, about how he got Muse off heroin, basically, and Muse's struggle with that. So we did a short film about that Downie had started and almost completed, and that was something that I came on board to sort of to finish off. Was in essence bringing my expertise of being a native New Jersey, a New Jerseyite, and just some of the other stuff in terms of also being familiar with the Kevin Smith kind of universe, and we sort of formed a creative partnership that was in the end of 2012, start of 2013. We finished filming that. That got some attention from Kevin. That went up on his YouTube channel and is currently at about 50,000 views, and I think that was a big catalyst for actually, if we're able to make an audience of 50,000 sit through 20 minutes of a comedy drama, why can't we scale this up? Let's do the Kevin Smith biopic rather than a short Kevin Smith biopic. So I think that's how we kind of reached the conclusion of this is the ultimate story.
Also, like as Spielberg said, you have to equal parts courage and stupidity. We don't have equal parts courage and stupidity. There's more of one. You have to just be like, right, I guess we're just doing this. And that was a key factor for both of us.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any fear, and I'm stupid.
So it all works out.
That's not having her say that one before.
So was it hard getting the rights to be able to do this?
Well, no, because we had a working relationship with Kevin, because we'd done, every film that we made based around Kevin, because we were just adapting all these popular stories that he told that were really fresh and familiar with his fan group. We would just say, hey, we've done another movie, do you want it? And they'd be like, yep, okay, and it'd be up the next day. So we were making all these films, and he was really sort of touched. And because we were relatively respectful about it, we didn't shove anything in his face. We didn't really ask for anything. We were like, hey, we love you, man. Here's a film. We like making movies. We like you. So boom. We don't want anything of it. And he mentioned us on podcasts and on social media, and he did a lot for us. As did Ralph Garman, who he co-hosts Hollywood Babylon with. They did a lot of, I guess, publicity in the early days when we did our first film before Get Greedo, when they featured it, and it was just an incredible experience because of those two people, and obviously Jason Muse's wife was instrumental bringing us into the fold, Joan Monsanto. So I guess because we started off in a respectful place of just doing these films first, you go back, it's a short biopic, and then it sort of evolves into something a bit more serious. We proved ourselves. We're not going to make a mockery of Kevin and his story and people's struggles, because there are struggles in it.
Yeah.
I guess we just sort of got to the point where I said to Kevin, and probably in an email, I think we're going to do the Clerks movie. And it was probably something like, sounds good. Because it's two words or 6 words. It's just the most I used to get out of him. And then when we were doing the Indiegogo, he really sort of helped us sort of promote, and he's just sort of been really helpful ever since, right up until today. Like,
Yeah.
we were looking at things that he's like retweeting things and favoriting things, and of course he added us to his schedule as well.
Yeah.
So at the bottom there's like a blurb about additionally.
Yeah.
So it was, here's the Kevin Smith stuff.
Oh, and he posted on
And
Instagram,
additionally,
like,
yeah,
that
and
was
we're
pretty
really
cool.
sort of touched by that, and when he finally saw the movie and cried,
Nice.
and then it just that was it.
That's
That was
pretty
very
cool,
nice.
like just to get him like that emotional into
Oh,
the
yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Like I've like listened to some podcasts where he gets really emotional and felt, and it's like you really connect with that.
Yeah.
And like the way he talks, he can get you to connect with him and how he
Yeah.
feels and things.
I think the podcasts were a huge point of almost the world building of what this depiction of coastal shitty 90s Jersey that was instrumental in kind of creating the aesthetic behind the film, because like the movie's black and white,
Yeah.
these selections that are kind of designed to be in color with purpose, and creating the world within that. A lot of that kind of fleshing out, knowing where this is where he would have hung out with his friends, this is where
Yeah.
that would have happened. A lot of that came from a lot of the podcasts.
Did you guys learn any like life lessons from Kevin? Like even shooting during like, you know, you're pretty much doing like a bio of how he started out and like how he pretty much like, you know, cashed out everything for this movie.
Everything.
Like
Everything.
yeah, everything.
I
So-
think, like-
everything that he talks about, and everything that we have our Kevin talk about, and everything that's on the poster is 100% true.
yeah.
For instance, the tagline for the movie is, it's all about making a movie with your friends, which of course is a double entendre for the thing. But I love working with these people, and we're going to work together on the next film because it was such an experience. A lot of them I was friends with first, and it just happens to be that they're talented as well. But I've come to be friends with people like Chris Bain and Jay Booton, and it's been an amazing experience because we're all in this indie hell together, so just
Yeah.
make the best of it.
I think there's a huge, like, I'm hoping that in future years this will kind of be regarded as a beautiful moment in like meta cinema in terms of like this self-referencing postmodernism evolution of the medium. But I think the film also epitomizes the whole kind of like life imitating art
Yeah.
imitating life kind of cycle, because literally the issues that Kevin struggles with as depicted in the movie, which happen in real life, are issues that we have encountered ourselves, which we're then also recording and sort of formulating in terms of a documentary and sharing those stories whenever we go out to places. So it's a cycle.
It's almost cheesy at certain points. Like, so Brett plays Kevin Smith's best friend. Brett is my best friend. You know,
Yeah.
I've got Mark playing Kevin, and Mark is one of my oldest friends. I even have my oldest friend in there playing Kevin's dad.
Yeah.
And it's comfortable. It's what you know. And when you're, like I said, working in this indie hell, you need to have cushioning of some sort. Otherwise, you're going to go insane. And I nearly did a few times.
I think lessons-wise, I think we took a lot of, like, Kevin's quite a humble, down-to-earth just guy.
Yeah.
And it wasn't so much like, you're talking about like the rights, it wasn't so much as obtaining the rights, it was
Yeah.
more like earning his blessing.
Yeah.
Kind of to be
Blessing,
like, yeah, go ahead, I want to see what you do.
Yeah.
Well, he gives like his fans the opportunity to do something with
Yeah.
his work, where like some people are like, no, you can't touch it. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
whatever.
Was that
I don't know.
like a me?
Block. Sorry.
It's okay. I mean, there's ducks running around.
My
and
phone
then-
is always on silent. I have no idea why.
Sod's
The
law,
one
mate.
moment it needs to be silent is full volume.
So what was it like to have your first encounter with Kevin Smith? Like you guys' first time meeting him and talking with him?
So the first time we met him, he was in Manchester. He
Can
was
I
on-
just interject and tell the story? Mainly because
You want it? Yeah.
because I've said this story so many times, I even wrote an essay about it. It's called the Santa Claus Factor. So basically, this is mainly because of Brett and Jordan that this happened. So we're in the middle of pre-shooting. So we did a week of pre-shooting with a big bunch of the actors. We brought them up, did some pre-shooting, see if we get some stuff out of the way. In between this, Kevin had a show in Manchester, which is about 6 hours away from where we live.
Where I live as well.
Yeah,
And
close
it
to
lives,
where-
it's quite close to where Jay lives as well. So I contacted Jordan. I was like, I don't want to be cheeky, but is there any way we could come and say hello? And she said, yeah, absolutely. Come and meet him during the break as well. And we're like, absolutely. So we drive down, we get there, we watch half the show, really funny, watch the movie, because it was Jay and Silent Bob's super groovy cartoon movie. And then it comes to the half-time point, we're like, right, okay, let's wait for the text, here we go, we're going to go meet Kevin for the first time. Nothing. we upset someone? Nothing again, nothing. And then the second part of the show starts where they do their live part and they talk about, you know, drug addiction and their friendship and various other bits. And I'm going out in my head, I'm like, oh crap, we're not going to get to meet him. We're not going to, you know, give him these like gifts that we've got and thank him for everything in person as opposed to doing an email. And then the show ends. We go outside, and both myself and Brett have something like 2% on our phone. And Brett goes to the front of the building that's shut. For some reason, I don't know why he did it. And I'm sat there defeated, like, oh, I really wanted to meet him. It would just give me that sort of energy to start the film properly. Yeah. And I'm down to 1%, and my phone's just, the wheels turning on my phone, it's just about to die. And I just see the message from Brett, I'm inside, Jordan's got me, don't go anywhere, because we're about to drive away. So we're outside, and the roadies, or the teamsters, what would you call them? Yeah, they're telling us to get back. Yeah. These are proper, like, Mancunian sort of, or Londoners. They don't give a damn. They don't know who Kevin is. They certainly don't know who we are.
Security.
Yeah, they're telling us to leave, like, bugger off, essentially. And Jordan comes down and sort of stands up to these huge 6'2+ guys, and very quietly says, "Okay, if you feel like that way, that's fine. I'll be back in a minute." So she goes off, gets permission. We go inside. I'm like, "Oh God, we're so close. Are we going to get kicked out again? Is this another instance of us getting kicked out? We're going to come so close." And people are telling me to calm down because I'm, you know, overreacting, of course. And while we're waiting, we see Jason Mewes go down the stairs because there's a spiral staircase up to the top of this turret because we're in England after all, so everything's a castle. And
where was it?
It was the O2.
Yeah. And Jordan comes down, and I see her just sort of walk really fast outside, and you hear some words, and she comes back in and goes, "Right, guys, let's go." So a bunch of the guys go up front, and we're going up this spiral staircase, and Brett demands everybody stop. He shouts, "Stop!" And so we stop, and he said, "Let Downie go first," which was still one of the nicest things you've ever done. So they shoved me up the front, and here we are going up Santa's grotto, and we're being led by Santa's little helper. Now, I'm not saying she's little or she's his helper, but it's the closest analogy I have, and she doesn't have big pointy ears. So Jordan's taking us up Santa's grotto, and we get to the top, and we're met by Mrs. Claus, Kevin's wife. Yeah. Very scared because she doesn't suffer fools gladly, and I'm certainly a fool. So we say hello respectfully, and we go in and turn right in this tiny little room, and we just see this back with stripes and a black jersey, and he just turns around and comes over and hugs us. And for the whole time down there, we're like, "What are we going to talk about?" "Okay, well, we should make sure that we say this, make sure we say that." And we tell him how much we appreciate him. We spoke about Waterworld for 15 minutes. And at the end, like halfway through it, and we're like, "You know, people are going to ask us what we spoke to you about, and we're going to have to tell them we spoke to you about Waterworld, which is a film that nobody even likes."
It's true. I had this conversation with a friend a couple of days ago. Like, "Isn't Waterworld amazing?" I'm like, "No,
I love Waterworld.
There's so many scenes that like didn't make sense or needed to be there."
Oh yeah, of course, but that's half the fun. We even like the
we were in LA. We went to WonderCon back in March, and we were there for a week because we were shooting a cameo scene with Jason Mewes, and so we had a contact who was able to get us into Universal Studios, and so we went to like the Waterworld live show, and immediately after seeing that, we were all like, "Oh, we gotta watch Waterworld."
Yeah, we're like, we're going to all the Universal stores, like, "You got Waterworld on DVD?" And they're like, "No." So yeah, that was the first time we met him, and he's a sweet, like, he's not just a sweetheart to us because of what we did. He's a sweetheart to everybody. Yeah. He gives everybody so much time, and it's because he wants to. And he's just genuinely like a nice guy.
Yeah, I remember one time we met him at WonderCon, and he just came because he directed like some like the Goldbergs and like the Flash.
Yeah.
So he came by, and his assistant's like, "Okay, when you talk to him, he's gonna talk a lot, but like it's okay if you could like just tell him like, okay, that's it." We're like, "No, why would we want to do that?"
Yeah, you do get like sliced liquid gold off him sometimes. I don't even know he knows where it comes from.
He's a really cool guy.
Yeah,
so nice. So we were talking also earlier about like the camera equipment that you used to film the movie.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that?
Oh, geez. Yeah, okay. So the production crew was basically me and Downie. It was literally us. And I was on camera. I'm on camera in like 30 to 40% of the movie. Yeah. So usually the standard setup will be that Downie was operating the camera. We used a Canon 5D Mark II because it was the Mark III we used.
I don't know why you keep thinking it's the Mark II.
Because I thought the Mark III had just come out, and
No,
we
the
had got the Mark II.
It's the
cheaper.
Mark III. You're insane. Yeah.
So we were using that. We had a range of like crappy lenses. Like we love going to charity shops and shitty places and markets and everything.
But
trying to track
part
down
of the draw was to
analog
use
stuff.
analog lenses because it gave it a sort of soft 90s look as well.
We knew it was gonna. We knew we were gonna try and make it look crappy on purpose, which kind of played to our aesthetic of hanging on to the edge of our seats of barely knowing what we were doing. But so Downie was on camera. I was operating the sound equipment. That was basically it. He was also directing. He was also doing the lights. He was doing costumes. I was doing hair and makeup. It was just it was full on. It was a mix of everything. So yeah, it was pretty like bare minimum kind of entry level stuff between a DSLR and an external audio recorder. Within that, I think it really plays into one of the things that Kevin pushes a lot about, like, just get out and do it. If you've got an idea for a movie, just go out and make it. And within that, that's what we tell people quite frequently is when someone shows up and they've got a DSLR, it's like, you can shoot a movie on that, and you could shoot it on your phone. You can record audio on a phone. You can shoot video on a phone now. And so we say that to people quite frequently when they ask, oh, what did you film on? And we're like, the camera that pretty much everyone has, just a DSLR, just a slightly nicer kind of camera.
But it's also a good thing with the option that we had incorporated, because I'm a big fan of the film Natural Born Killers, and they use a lot of different stock in that, and that's what we did as well. Because it's set in the 90s, we don't have to necessarily stick with the camera that is your eye. We can jump into CCTV or home video or Super 8. So we do that throughout the film, especially those sequences that take place before the 90s where there wasn't video cameras, so we can jump into Super 8 then. And so we used a lot of different methods to make it look dynamic and interesting while using things that were readily available then. Plus I'm a massive fan of like dead media, so to be able to actually use that in the film was doing a scripted scene, and half of it, in fact there's one scene in the movie, I'll not say what scene it is, it's just all VHS. We filmed it all in VHS. The sound is the best part of it, and then
like
you just
the big
blow it up.
gun VHS that
Yeah.
they had.
And all we did is we blew it up to HD and 4K depending on what our export was, and then you just record good sound and sync it. So simple, and that aesthetic that sells it. That's like a production.
It's extra production value, even though it's a camera that's free and was in your attic.
Exactly.
Pretty much like everyone in the family in the 90s had one of those things. Like even
Just
in
find
like
one.
photos, you see someone with a big old giant thing, just for a tape. But pretty much it's like Kevin's like message, like if you want to do it, go ahead and do it. Even use whatever you have, phone and stuff. I mean, even with the technology we have today, it's pretty good. Even like better than when the 90s cameras.
Well, even better than when we started filming. So principal photography was actually over the summer of 2014, and so it was really only after that point that you start to see other directors and filmmakers who are doing stuff exclusively on an iPhone, and that only really happened after that point. So I think you kind of see. Totally a change. That change of accessibility in terms of professional grade equipment becoming more and more more prevalent recently. It's something that'll only expand as we march ever towards the unification of a single device that does everything for us. So.
And if you want to do it, you will come to the conclusion that you're like, I have to do this. I'm going to pass out. I'm going to die if I can't do this. And you'll find any means to do it.
Use whatever you got.
And then you'll just adapt to that and say, right, this is how I'm doing it. And then you'll find a platform for it because you have to make it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You get these people that go to film school and want to make a movie, but if they can't get themselves a 35mm camera, 70mm camera, and a budget of $3 million, they're not interested. But the people that desperately want to make anything, like just a single shot of a guy dying in a chair, those are the people that usually make it. Yeah, even if it's just like one movie that they put on YouTube in 2005, like I used to do. That's something.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have any views, but you just sort of grow from that, and that's kind of important to remember. You will come to the conclusion you've just got to have to do it. And again, anything, video camera.
Yeah.
And then the good thing is you can work around that. So say you've got a VHS camera and you've got loads of VHS tapes, you go, I'll make a feature film, It's VHS, so it's set in the 90s, and it's from the point of view of Grandma, who always filmed the birthday parties. And it's a birthday each year, and then you stitch a story together. And that's the conceit, that's how you get around it. So that's kind of what we did, but...
Yeah, there's kind of like one of those rules of like, it was something that Robert Rodriguez always says with his sort of no film school stuff, where he's like, just use what you have. And so even though we did have something that was set, almost nearly two decades ago when we started, it was set two decades ago when we started. There are flashback scenes to Kevin's childhood, which, decades before that as well. We were still able to use stuff that was from, my parents' attics and my like childhood American VHS collection. Even though we were filming in Scotland, in the Kingdom of Fife, we were able to manipulate using stuff like locations that we had indoors and being able to be like, this is a pretty universal location, this could perhaps be anywhere, and then populating that with stuff like, you never see it in the movie, but stuff like old road maps that my grandparents had when they were touring the U.S. And so like, we'll put those on a shelf because that looks legit. And then having an 8-track player with just tapes, because it's like, oh, well, that's cool. That's something that would have been in everyone's living room back in the 70s. Yeah.
Plus, there are just parts of our city that just look like they haven't been touched since the 1960s.
Yes.
It's all
and just using what you have, just the selective lens of a camera that by zooming in to a certain point and not showing what's outside that, you can trick your viewer into thinking that you filmed at an actual convenience store, that you filmed actually in New Jersey, and to lots of things.
Just find a way. There's always a way.
What projects are you guys working on next?
Well, we do have a few projects. We would like to have lots going, but we do have a few projects in the works just now. We're working on a dramedy. Should we say the title? Is that what should we talk about? So this will be the first place we've actually talked about it. It's not on IMDb yet, like the other projects are, but we're doing a feminist vampire movie called Widows of the Departed, and it's about these robbed women who lose their master and have to find their way and realize that women are equal. Even in the vampire world, because the vampire world is really, really complicated. And if you don't have a vampire master, you're fair game. And it's sort of playing off that Me Too thing of, hey, you don't have a boyfriend, so I can grab your ass in a club, sort of thing. Yeah. And it's about them surviving, or maybe they decide that they shouldn't have to survive. And that's the sort of whole premise of Widows of the Departed. And then we've also got a video game project we're working on called The Rabbit with the Habit, which is about a ex-McDonald's-esque mascot who has been fired, and he's big into a carrot-related drug, and he dresses like a rabbit, but everybody seems to think he is a rabbit because he lives in a world with animals that are anthropomorphic and humans. So it's different projects.
we went to a school that actually specializes in games design, where we went to university. So we kind of have a background in that is something we want to explore next in terms of creating something slightly different to what we've been working on.
Well, it's a play with different, not different genres, but also different mediums as well. And especially since we've come up with wacky ideas and we can build a game. There's 3 people that are going to be involved in the early sort of part of the production, and 2 of them are already here. And that was another reason why we called our production company Aldrichy Media as opposed to Aldrichy Pictures, because we wanted to venture out and do more than just film. So it's just stuff, really, just fun stuff.
I think generally we're kind of biased towards things that are comedy-centric anyway, in terms of Shooting Clerks being like a really, really funny movie. Probably funnier than we intended with the initial script. It's something that just came out of a lot of the actions and the context and everything.
The cast really nail it. Like, of course, Jay, for example. Jay plays Dave Klein in the movie. I'm not sure how funny Dave Klein was in real life back then. He's certainly a very dry, witty guy now, but Jay steals every scene that he's in just by doing something with his hands. He doesn't even need to be speaking. So that's just a prime example of how it's funny because we did it as a group. Like, I couldn't have done this by myself, he couldn't have done it by ourselves. But it's what it is because we worked together and got a great team of people.
Currently, though, one of the reasons why we're out at Comic-Con is because Shooting Clerks isn't finished yet. So we've actually launched an Indiegogo campaign just after our panel, which is on Thursday. We're hoping that gains some attention, that we can raise enough funds to finish the movie. Basically, every time we've shown this film to anyone sort of Kevin-related, someone else has come out of the woodwork and said, I was in Clerks, can I be in your movie? Can we do a cameo?
Yeah.
We've had loads of people over the past year. We've probably recorded another 7, 8, 9 cameos, and we've still got a couple more to finish off. So not only has it grown arms and legs in terms of the people that we've been filming with, we've also we've got to expand, our responsibilities have expanded to kind of match that. So in terms of getting the music licenses to be able to play the songs that we're going to want to play in the movie, in order to get the legal protections, because we want to release it in both the US and the UK, just components like that we want to make sure our backs are covered so that everyone can see this, basically, so that it doesn't get tied up and thrown away in any way.
Or ignored.
Yeah, or ignored. So that's something that we're looking to promote, and hopefully we'll be back at Comic-Con.
No, we will be. We're coming back to Comic-Con next year. This is part of our phase 1, as Ryan James, who's not here, is one of our producers as well, came up with the idea that because Marv aren't here, we're taking their place, and we're doing phase 1. So this is the introduction to Shooting Clerks at Comic-Con. We showed quite a lot of footage. We spoke at great length, and then we really showed what we had. We showed quite a lot of the movie, just to show people exactly what they're sort of buying into. And then by the time next year comes along, we'll have the film finished. All these things like BBFC classification and is it MPA? MPA class. All those things will be in play. That's the only reason we'd get ignored by theaters if we didn't have the MPA classification. And then we can bring it back to Comic-Con on the 50th anniversary of Comic-Con and the 25th anniversary of Clerks.
Oh, nice.
So next year being the 25th anniversary of Clerks, we're really hoping that this scratches the itch that Clerks 3 now isn't going to fill because it's not happening.
Yeah.
So I think we want to try and present this as an option to the audience to be like, rather than wanting to know what's next, you probably want to find out what happened before.
Yeah. It's like we don't have the cure, but here's some lotion to rub in. And it's some really soft lotion, and you'll feel good and have a good night's sleep.
Great. And where can people find you guys on the internet or about your Shooting Clerks?
So we can send you, there's an Indiegogo link that we can send you if you look up Shooting Clerks 2018 on Indiegogo.
We'll put it on the...
Yeah.
On the bottom right now.
And then we do a lot of our publicity through Facebook. A lot of our big updates are on Facebook. That's just Shooting Clerks on Facebook. You can follow me on Twitter, even though I don't post much. It's Brett Murray 92.
Okay.
I'm at Uppie Downie, so it's UPPIE, and it's Downie DOWNIE.
I post a lot of stuff as well.
Yeah, actually. You got to follow Jay. And then our producer, Brian James, also does a lot. Whenever we're out and about, he's always the one who has the camera and is doing stuff.
Yeah,
he's immediately after
he's the king of social media.
He's at maybe Ryan James.
I was talking to him. He got me.
He's on both Twitter and Instagram under that, I believe. So that's pretty much all.
We all tag each other, so from there, if one of us will post one thing, you'll find everyone's tags in there that you can, and we all put all the cast and the people who are involved all post all the time. So.
And we're hoping to we're hoping to do some more preview screenings. We're hoping to finish this off within the next year.
The film is finished. The bulk of the film is finished.
It's 99% there. It's very watchable. I enjoy it.
But there are just places where we're going to stick a new scene. And although it's a cameo, it just it even solidifies the scene even more. So because we didn't want to just wedge in a cameo, even a last minute one. So we had to justify it. And sometimes we wedge in a cameo, gives the scene a little bit of time to breathe, or it just sort of ramps it up even more, and then you get this big laugh. And the only other thing apart from those additional scenes is, like you said, the music licenses, because there's 2 very important songs that make it very reminiscent of Clerks. And it would be remiss of us to do a disservice to the fans to not have these songs in there, especially in one instance. That we want to try and sort of break our backs trying to get this sorted so that we can actually have these songs in the film legally instead of just taking them out and putting some sort of stock music in.
I think it's another go towards final post-production elements, because when we're inviting people out to cinemas to go and see this film, we don't want scenes to sound crappy. We don't want things to look crappy. We want them to look how we want them to look and how they deserve to sound. We just want to put the best product forward, essentially, and it's just 3 of us making this, essentially.
And it looks and sounds so good thus far with next to nothing, because we're running on fumes at this point. but the way it looks and sounds just now is fantastic. But we don't want it to sound fantastic for like our living rooms. We want it to be great for your living rooms or for the odd cinema screen that we put the film up on.
Yeah.
Because we do have people in place to do sound passes and various effects, fixes and tweaks and things like that. And that's something that Brett and I can't really do. We're not really into sort of sound balancing. So it's sort of like give us a year to do it ourselves sort of thing. We really do need to get professionals in for that.
And we just want to pay them what they're worth, essentially.
Exactly, yeah. And we want to have a continuing relationship with all these people because, like I said, it's fun. We enjoy working with all these people, right down to the crew, right down to the post-production effects.
And so many people have done us favors in terms of getting involved and helping us get off the ground that it's sort of like, look, we are this close to finishing. Let's make sure we're keeping people on our side, basically, because it's been 4 years since we've started. Let's not hold it off any longer, you know. So that's where we're at.
All right. Do you have any more questions?
I'm good right now. Yeah, that was awesome.
Thank you guys so much for your time, and I'm excited to be able to see this soon. So I'll be looking out for it for sure because I'm a huge Clerks fan and everything.
Awesome. Well, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Cool. Thanks a lot.